Okay. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Okay. Okay. So we saw the whole thing, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, in terms of the gunas, etc. Now he is coming to the main thing, okay, the main topic here. The 19th verse, what we are seeing, Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashta anupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam so adhigachyati. The idea is not just to become sattvic. Though it's good to become sattvic, okay, fine. The idea is to recognize that you are the one who's witnessing sattva, rajas, tamas in your system, and you are therefore free from the whole thing. That is the important point. Gunebhyaha param veti. Gunebhyaha param veti. What is beyond the gunas you are recognizing. That is yourself. You are the one who is untouched by any of the gunas. Okay. Yatha drishtu anupashyati. Mad bhavam sadhigachyati. Then you gain mad bhavam, Ishvara bhavam. That means as pure consciousness you remain. Okay. That is a mad bhavam. Here when Krishna is speaking as Ishvara, he is speaking from the standpoint of the pure consciousness. Okay. Alright. One more person has joined in. Yes. Okay. Alright. Then Gunan etan atitya Trindehi deha samudbhavan Janma mrityu jara dukkhehi Muktaha amrutamashnute. Okay. Gunan etan trin gunan etan atitya. Sorry, I am not done. These three gunas, okay, the person having gone beyond, okay, atitya, then trin gunan atitya, okay, dehi, the one who dwells in this body, dehi, deha samadbhavan, where the deha etc. is born from the gunas, deha samadbhavan, janma mrityu jara dukkhehi, the dukkha of janma, mrityuhu, birth and death, and everything that comes in between, okay. You can include COVID also into the whole thing, okay. Everything that comes in between, all of them, he says, okay. Muktaha, he becoming freed from that. Amrutamashnute, he gains immortality. Gains immortality is a way of saying it. As consciousness, you already are immortal. You are already free from time and space. What you need is to recognize that. That's why we say, you are free pending discovery. As long as you know what you are and identify with the self. Now when you say identify with the self, isn't there identification with the body, etc.? Functionally, for the sake of functioning. Like playing the role. Playing the role on a stage is simple. To understand this, most of us are used to seeing our parents, especially our fathers, our generation, at our homes. So he is a little bit, in our times he was a bit stern figure. You approach him only when needed, etc. But the interesting thing will be to see him at his workplace. When you see him at his workplace, among his colleagues, his friends, he is entirely a different person. Does that mean he stopped being a father? No, but he is not a father now. Now he is with his colleagues. Roles keep changing, identifications keep changing. Because they come and go. They are not permanent. Whereas you, the consciousness, is a permanent fixture. Like how? Right now, you, a simple person, is permanent right through. The person becomes the husband or wife, the mother or the father, the brother or the sister, The student is a simple person. But the problem is we are not in touch with the simple person also. So, this as the simple person is common in all the roles, similarly, the truth of that person happens to be pure consciousness. So, once you are comfortable with that, then what? Where is the problem of the role? You leave it with the role. Yeah. But you know, the problem, when I say this, I can already imagine the problems that are coming up. We are not used to, especially after the pandemic, to separating out our roles. The office has come home and home has become the office. So when do you drop the role, your job roles? When do you drop your parent roles? If you are in touch with the person, it is instantaneous. You look at your child, the parent comes up. Then you look at your work, the officer comes up. It's simple as that. Just one look, things can change. But we are not used to. The roles impinge on us so much because we don't know the real. We have taken the roles as the real. So I would suggest at least get in touch with the simple person that you are. Just the person. Who plays the role of a husband, wife, father, brother, mother, whatever. As a simple person. We are very often not in touch with the person as well. That's why we find this idea a little bit difficult to swallow. Difficult to accept, difficult to be at home with, because the roles impinge on us so much. The roles are impinging so much on us that the role is me, I am the role, it becomes like that. Which is not true. Which is not true. Yes, Satya, tell me.
So one thing I always think from one role to the other. Either I would be thinking as an employer, or I would be thinking as a husband, or I would be thinking as a
Correct.
father. Now I am confused with the point what you mentioned. Think like a person. Can you please help me to understand more that point?
Simple. What were you before you became husband, before you became father? Don't tell me you've forgotten. You became father only barely a year ago. What were you before that?
But again, that was a role, right? Wasn't it?
The role of what? Before you started working? After you finished your studies?
Yeah, like I used to go for treks. I used to go for.
So you are more in touch with the simple person and what the person wanted. Yeah, the person is also a role, true, but it's a little bit more fundamental than the other roles. No? Are you getting what I'm driving at? Yeah. And that person happens to be nothing but consciousness. That's one more step. Big step, but an important step. Yeah. That's the simple person. Like if you are sitting down somewhere, not relating to your wife or your child or your job, what are you then? Just the person. See, that is why in the 13th chapter, that value was given. Vivikta desha sevitvam. Retire to a quiet place. Retire to a quiet place. Why? Get in touch with the person you are. Yeah. A little one is agreeing with that. He is nodding away. Yeah. Get in touch with the simple person. Things are fine then. But our identification of the role is too much. We have taken the roles as real. The role may be important. That doesn't make it real. You know, just because something is important doesn't make it real. It's important, it is important. That's fine. Yeah, nothing more than that. Yeah. So get in touch with the person. Yeah. Then what is the person? The truth of the person is nothing but pure consciousness. It's a different ball game altogether then. Sugandh is also joining up. Okay. Fine. Now, because Krishna mentioned these terms going beyond the three gunas, Arjuna pushes in a question. Okay, Arjuna pushes in a question. Arjuna vacha kairlingaihi strin gunan etan atito bhavati prabho kimachara katam chetam strin gunan atita vartate. This is the same question he has asked at the end of the second chapter. Who is the Sita Prajna? How does he walk, talk? What is his achara about? Same question he is asking here. Only instead of Sita Prajna, he is using the word Gunatitaha. He look at it. Kair Lingaihi. What are the signs of Gunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabhu? Of one who is beyond the three gunas. One who has recognized oneself to be beyond the three gunas. What are the signs of that person? Kim acharaha? How does he function? How is his behavior like? Katam chaitan tri gunan atita vartate. How does he function? How does he go about doing things? There, all that he asked about the Sita Prajna, he is now replacing Sita Prajna with Gunatitaha. Why? Meaning is same. Meaning is same. Whether you are Gunatita or Sthita Prajna, it refers to one and the same person, the person who knows the truth about himself or herself. If you know the truth of yourself, you can call yourself Gunatitaha, Sthita Prajnaha, a wise person, Jnananishtaha, Jnani. All those terms are used. The same thing for a person who has known the truth. So let us look at how Bhagavan answers. He also gives it a little twist to answer in terms of the question. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakasham cha pravurtim cha mohameva cha pandavaha na dveshti sampravurtani na nivartani kankshati. Simple. Whenever prakasham, that is sattva, pravurtim, rajas, moham, tamas, evacha pandava. All these, hey Pandava, when these things come up, because these are bound to come up, there's a making up of your mind. When these come up, na dveshti sampravruttani. When they are functioning, na dveshti, he is not against them. Vishu Sadhya we had on Friday, had a nice Sadhya for Vishu. Okay, even I had one. I got invited to a Mallu home and a nice Sadhya. After that, what? What is going to come up? Sattva is going to come up after that. After all that coconut based gravy food and mountains of rice and payasam and everything, all that kheer, what is going to come up? Tamas only will come up. Na dveshti, you welcome it. अच्छा से नींद आ जाएगा. Okay. Na dveshti. Na nivartani kankshati. Arey, what is this tamas doing in me? I am supposed to be a wise person. I am not supposed to have tamas in me. Nothing of that sort. Nothing of that sort. Na kankshati. Na nivartani kankshati. It doesn't have a longing to it. Meaning, he lives a very natural life. You know, this wise person was asked, what are your siddhis as a wise person? I said, my siddhis as a wise person? I eat when I am hungry, I sleep when I am tired. When I am not hungry, I don't eat. When I am not tired, I don't sleep. Meaning, as natural life as possible. Because these are bound to come up. These are bound to come up. So when these come up, what are you bothered about? Yeah. Why are you trying to fight the whole thing up? Yeah. Don't fight. See, As a student, if too much of tamas comes up, what do you do? Come on, let me cut down this. 3 hours sleep in the afternoon is not healthy. I'm working from home, but that doesn't mean I sleep for 3 hours every afternoon. You cut it down. Correct? But why do you get into that habit of sleeping so much in the afternoon anyway? It's a catch-22 situation. Because you're tamasic, you feel asleep. Because you're sleeping so much, you become more tamasic. So you break the pattern. Correct? Why do you break the pattern? So you become more sattvic, so that you can learn the truth and get your nishtha in the truth. All right, now you have gained your nishtha. Abhi kya hai? Let whatever is natural come up. However wise you are, some tamas is bound to be there in you. Thank God. Some rajas is bound to be there in you. Some people more, some people less. Some people more, some people less. It's bound to happen. I'm talking about among the wise people, okay? Yeah. Sattva naturally will be there. So when you're teaching, what will you be? You're not sleeping and teaching, okay? Tamasic mind. You can't teach Vedanta with a tamasic mind. Even if you're having a huge meal and then going to start teaching. Like I know, I used to put my Sanskrit teacher to a problem. You know, we studied Sanskrit in the ashram those days at Sandipni. The modern method, you know. Bhandarkar's book. We studied that, Bhandarkar's 1 and 2. It was a good level of Sanskrit. But then we also wanted to pick up the sutra literature. Okay. How the sutras handle it. So I found somebody in Kailas ashram, a young man, who will teach. And once in 2 weeks, we would have a Bhandara in Kailas ashram. Now, normally between Bhandara and the Sanskrit class, there is a 2-hour gap. So you expect me to walk back 2 kilometers in the hot sun at 12 o'clock and walk back again 2 kilometers, 4 kilometers for a class? So Uday and I would put a bit of pressure on this guy. Maharaji, abhi class le lena? अरे अभी अभी तो भंडारा खाया है, वो नींद आने का पहला क्लास हो जाएगा, पाठ हो जाएगा नींद आने का पहला. You put the pressure on him, finish the class and then come home. Yeah. Otherwise, what you will do? You could. He was very welcoming guy. He says, ना जगह है ना इधर, सो जाओ, 1 घंटा सो के फिर क्लास करेगा. You could sleep there in his room. But who would want to delay that much? You finish the class. So poor guy, even though he is feeling tamasic, he had to sit and take the class. And he would take it because he had a regard for us. He used to attend the junior most class in Vedanta at that time, and we used to attend the senior most class in Vedanta at the same time. But the sutra literature we had not picked up, so we used to pick it up from him. Yeah. So that's how it used to happen. Okay. So tamasic time also you can teach. Yeah. If you teach during tamasic time, you will become very sattvic, okay, automatically. After that, you will find it difficult to go to sleep. Yeah, after that, you will find it difficult to go to sleep. But as it comes up, you let it come up and you deal with it. That's the idea. You don't bother. Oh, now I'm feeling sattvic. Now I'm feeling rajasic. That is not meant even for a student. That's not the idea, okay? But if you are feeling tamasic when you are not supposed to, then pull yourself up. That's why before the class, have a cup of tea or something, or coffee or whatever, and then come and sit in the class. Otherwise, you will continue your afternoon nap in the class. Yeah, so to prevent all that, there are ways, you all are familiar with it. Okay. So, na nivartani cha kankshati, he doesn't long to negate them. Udasinavad asinaha guneryo na vichalyate gunan vartante ityevam yuavitashtati naingate. What a beautiful verse, you know. What a beautiful verse. 2-3 verses are taken together, but let's do it one verse. Udasinavad asinaha. Udasina means almost indifferent. As though indifferent he sits. You are not indifferent. but as though indifferent. Why is this expression given? Now, how will I explain it? Okay, my younger student is my inspiration. Okay, let us say he is learning to walk and doing some mischief and learning to walk. Will you go and keep picking him up, or will you watch letting him fall, etc.? You are concerned, but at the same time you are non-interfering. Why? Every kid has to fall a few hundred times before you learn to walk. Because, oh, my kid, and pick up. Can you? If you do, you are over involved. You are a helicopter parent then. Your child will never learn to walk. And there are some parents who do that. I knew this kid, the young man now, okay, born in a very rich family in Coimbatore. Never put on the ground. Someone always carrying him around. So once I went to their house for lunch, Riksha. They said, we have one problem, we are very happy with everything. Only one problem. My child is 18 months old, he is not walking. I said, what? Your grandkid is 18 months old and not walking, not taken a single step? No. I said, where is the kid? So one maid brought the kid. Fat. Okay. Chubby. When it comes to a kid, you wouldn't say fat kid. It's a chubby kid. Okay, fine. Use nice terms. I said, okay, place him on the ground. The maid is looking at the mother and grandmother. Why you have never placed him on the ground? I said, not a wonder. Now what is the solution? Because the kid has put on weight, his muscles are not grown enough to. I said, get him that walker where he can sit on the walker and walk around. That type of walker. I said, put him on that. For the first time in his life, he has gained some independence. And he is going all over the place, banging in this, doesn't care. I said, don't interfere, let him be. So in about 3 months, the kid learned to walk. Why? Because the people are over involved. Udasina vadasinaha. Let the child fall, it's okay. If the child cries and everything because it got hurt, then pick him up and console him. Otherwise, udasina vadasinaha, remain. Similarly here, the world is going its way. They are making mistakes. Let them make their mistakes and learn. It's okay. You caution them once. The best example I saw of this is Commodore's daughter. Her daughter's first marriage. You know, the mother was going around handling all the marriage arrangements. But I felt something amiss. I told her, you're not really happy with this marriage, no? She says, no. I don't give it more than 6 months. You don't give it more than 6 months? Why are you going around arranging everything? She says, my daughter is hell-bent on it. I don't want to lose my daughter. So I'll allow her to make her mistake. And she was right. The marriage didn't last 3 months. Forget 6 months. She looked indifferent, but she was not indifferent. She let the daughter make her mistakes and learn it. Otherwise, there would have been big fights, this, that, etc. And the daughter would have walked out. And then would hesitate to walk back in. If things go wrong in the marriage. All those of you who are parents of young girls, keep this in mind, okay? Udasina vadasinaha. Yeah. Because remember, everyone comes, even as a teacher, you see people making stupid, idiotic mistakes. And bluffing you also. You see that also happening. You recognize that. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Why? Udasina vadasina, they come with their samskaras, their prarabdhas. They have to go through that. It's okay to go through that. If things go wrong, you are there to pick up the pieces. No problems. You are there with your support. But they have to go through that. Are you getting the idea? What it takes? It's not easy. It's not easy. For a wise person, it comes quite naturally. Udasinavad. There are udasin sampradayas also among sadhus, okay? They don't get involved in anything. Not even in teaching. Okay, yeah. They sit in one place. If someone comes to them to learn, they will teach, not otherwise. Udasinaha. Gunehi na vichalyate. They are not shaken by any of the gunas. The gunas don't rule them. Gunas come and go. They do what they have to do. They are what they are. Gunas will come and go. What are you? The witnesser of all the gunas. Sakshi kevalaha nirgunaha. That's what you are. Let gunas come and go. Ki parak painde. What difference does it make? Yeah, they'll come and go. Gunaihi na vichali. Not shaken by the gunas. That means what? Not controlled by the gunas also. They can shake it off if they have to shake it off. Hey, काम करने के है ना, मूड नहीं है. Who has about your moods? He has about what is to be done. Yeah, गुणैः न विचाल्यते. गुणान वर्तन्ते इति एवं जो अवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते. Gunan guneshu vartante. Remember we saw this long back, 4th chapter. Guna guneshu vartante. The gunas function in their respective field of activities. Yeah. Why? Their body, mind, etc. is product of the gunas. They function in their respective fields. And what are you? The pure consciousness that doesn't do a thing. You have that consciousness, nothing is done. Guna guneshu vartante. Iti matva na sangate. Okay. Neingate yo avatishtati. Who remains? Naangate. He is not shaken by anything. He is that pure consciousness. His mind is full of this knowledge that I am that consciousness. Nothing shakes that knowledge. Let it be sattva, rajas, tamas, whatever comes up, let it come up. Best example I have given you again. Swami Taranandagiri, remember? They diagnosed him as being depressed. Believe me, that was the days a lot of rajas came up in me. My hands were itching. to give those characters a whack for making the diagnosis. Not the doctors. The other full-timers who were around, Puja Swamiji was not there. Swami Taranandagiri was Puja Swamiji's teacher. He was staying in Coimbatore at that time in the ashram. So there were a couple of doctors in the course. I told the doctors, how are you all making a diagnosis of depression without ruling out all types of physical issues? He said, we have done everything. I said, what have you done? Have you checked up a brain scan or something like that? He says, no, we have not done that. I said, I'm coming down. You all do that in the meantime. So I went down. And the scan, they found out that the carotid artery was getting blocked. So the blood supply to the brain was less. So they gave him blood thinners, this, that, etc. And after about 10 days, all back to normal. So I asked him, Swamiji, क्या हो गया था आपको? बुद्धि काम नहीं कर रहा. My mind was not functioning. My buddhi was not functioning. Therefore, what did he do? Mastram hoke बैठ गया. Neingate, it is not shaken. If your brain is not functioning, what can you do? Nothing. So what do? Mastram anandoham. Anandoham. Iti neingate. You don't get shaken by it. You remain as ananda. This is a far cry from being depressed, okay? This is the other extreme. Your brain is not functioning, but you are ananda. Can you imagine something like that? I was fortunate to seeing that man like that, to see the person being like that. Yeah, unshaken by anything. मस्त राम होके बैठ गया. और अभी तो सब बुद्धि काम कर रहा है. क्या दवा दिया? अच्छा दवा दिया. That is what it takes. Okay. Yavatishtati gunatitaha. Such a person is gunatitaha. Okay. Samadukha sukha swastha samaloshtasma kanchanaha tulya priya priye dhiraha tulya ninda atma samstutihi manapamano manayo yo tulyaha mitra aripakshayoho sarvaramba parityagi gunatitaha sauchyate. Sama dukkha sukha kshami. Sama dukkha sukha. Happy experiences, unpleasant experiences will keep coming and going. Everything is not going to be pleasant all the time. You are not in control of the whole world outside. Things will happen. Some things will be pleasant, some things will be unpleasant. Like the fan here was making too much of a racket, so I switched it off. Zarurut hai. You can take a class without a fan or without an AC. की फर्क पहन दे? What difference does it make? Fan नहीं है, नहीं है. Yeah, fan is not there, not there. It is there, it is there. Enjoy it. Sama dukkha sukha. Yeah. This is minor, okay? Fan etc. is minor. We are talking of even major things, okay? Sama dukkha sukha. Why? Because swastaha. Swastaha. So atmani tishtati iti swastaha. He is rooted in himself. You know, in Kerala, if you go, you ask a retired man, what are you doing now? You know what he will say? Very peculiar expression in Kerala. Swastam. You will say that swastam. You are supposed to be with yourself, nothing else. Yeah. They're not that all retired people in Kerala are swastam, okay? They are not. But the idea I like. I like the idea, all right, that expression I like. Because that's what you're supposed to be. You're retired. Abhi kya karne ka? Atmajnanam. Or what else is left for you? Yeah. 2/3 of your life is over anyway. Na? So now what? Yeah. Get Atmajnanam. Swastha. Okay. Yeah. Swastha. Samaloshta ashama kanchana is the same. Loshta ashama kanchana. To a piece of rock, to a lump of earth, to a piece of gold. Samam meaning he is the same existence everywhere. He knows the functional value. Otherwise, why will you say Loshta, Ashama, Kanchana, etc.? Why will you point out, why will you use 3 different words? Of course, you know the functional value. What do you think? Sadhus are fools or what? You give him a rock and take the gold from him. He may give that gold to you because he doesn't care. That's a different thing. ठीक है यार इनको लेने दो. That's out of his compassion, his kindness. Not because he is foolish. Yeah. Not because he is foolish. Yeah, if you go and offer to him, he will ask, he will double check. Are you all okay by giving this much? Because out of his compassion, he doesn't want you to be in a loss. Or you to give more than what you can. Therefore, as a wise person, at least someone like me will definitely ask, are you giving too much? Are you all on board on this? He'll ask, so that you're okay. His concern for you, his care for you, his love for you, you know. That's a different thing. Yeah, but you know the difference. That's why those stories, you know, I told this before also, when it came earlier, that story that is there in Vedanta, that one of the students, to test the Guru, kept a gold coin under his pillow. And the whole night the Guru was restless. See what a Guru he is. The presence of gold made him restless. As though it's a big praise for the Guru. I said, idiotic story, I said. He said, Swamiji, why are you saying like that? You're too critical, okay? I said, see, if a student has to have a gold coin, full-time student, okay? Kangal hai. So full-time student has to have a gold. Obviously, he must have found somebody had dropped it. Let us take it that somebody had dropped it. So somebody lost a gold coin, and when he went home, he couldn't get sleep because he lost a gold coin. And this great Guru couldn't get sleep because he gained a gold coin. Who's more practical? One person's restlessness, I can understand, he has lost something. The other person has gained without even knowing he has gained, because it's kept under his pillow. He doesn't even know it's there. Such type of stories are damaging to the Gurus. They are meant as praise to the Gurus, actually they are damaging. Okay? Presence or absence doesn't make a difference. Yeah. Presence or absence doesn't make a difference. Paisa nahi chhuega. Money is what money does here. If you have to do something good in society, you need money. To live, you need some money. Na? That is very little. But if you want to do some good in the society, of course you need money. All those who have volunteered, to help with the ashram, etc., we are going to get in touch with you, okay? If we are in the process of fixing up the land and picking it up, then we'll all get in touch with you for fundraising and everything. Yeah. One or two of them we all have already promised amounts. That's great. Yeah. So, that's it. If you want to do good, you need, if you're sitting down, Mastaram Baba, okay, then you need very little. 2 meals a day is enough. That's all you need. So it depends how you are functioning in the society. There was Samaloshtasma Kanchana. Tulya Priya Priye. Priya Priya. Whether what is desirable happens or something undesirable happens. Tulyaha. You are balanced. You are balanced about it. You recognize what it is. You are responsive to the pathos of the situation. But you are not carried away by it. Like this kid I know who is expired a year back. I knew her well, a sweet kid. Barely 19. Yeah. Okay. You respond to the pathos of the situation, but you are not carried away by it. Priya, Priya, Tulya. Okay. Tulyaha Mitra Aripakshayoho. Mitra Pakshayoho, Aripakshayoho. To the stand that the friend takes, the stand the enemy takes. You recognize both of them. You are objective towards both of them. Tulya doesn't mean you will treat both as the same. No. You are objective enough to recognize both the pakshas, both the standpoints. Only then you can be a mediator. No? You need to understand what Ukraine is going through. You need to understand what Russia is going through. Objective enough to both of them. Both were our friends, okay? Both are friends. They have 2 friends have become enemies. Tulya Mitra Aripakshayo. Sarvarambha Parityagi. Given up all karmas. क्या कर रहा हो? कुछ नहीं कर रहा हो. Swami, you are running around and doing so much. Who is doing? मैं थोड़ी कर रहा हूँ. Don't say Bhagwan is doing, okay? Bhagwan doesn't do. Guna Guneshu Vartante. The gunas function in their respective fields of activity. I don't do a thing. Aham kimapi na karomi. Guna Guneshu Vartante. Body and mind function in their respective fields. Where do I as consciousness, I am sitting down doing nothing. Mastaram Baba. But you are running around. Even I am running around, I am Mastaram Baba. Okay. Okay. Sarvarambha Parityagi. Gunatitaha sauchyate. Such a person is Gunatitaha. See, if you try to remain somebody who doesn't do a thing, that is not Gunatitaha. Okay. That is, you are forcing yourself to not being. As a discipline, it can be nice. If you are a person who is normally running around like a headless chicken, to refrain yourself from that and sit down, doing nothing. Go for a course in Vipassana or something like that. That is good. It's a good discipline. But that is not wisdom. Wisdom is one who recognizes that I as the Atma does not do a thing whether I am doing or not doing. Karmani akarmaya pashet. Akarmani karmaya. Remember what chapter? Sabuddhiman manisheshu. Don't forget all this. This is all pointing to those things there. In karma, you are akarma. You don't do a thing in the midst of all activities. You are free from all activities. Yeah, you are free from all activities in the midst of all activities. That is the idea. Yeah, that's the idea. You are untouched by anything. Okay? Yeah, you are untouched by anything. So, gunatitaha. Otherwise, it's a different thing, you know. As a discipline, it is different. You know, as a discipline, you have heard the story of the Chumma Irikin Swamigal, no? Simply sitting Swami. It is my teacher's story. I will tell it in short, not elaborate it, like how we used to do. This new executive officer was appointed in this temple. Now, why does a secular government want to run the temples? I don't understand. Ideologically speaking. Practically, I know what they want. Do they want to take all the money away? That's all. Okay. So the new executive officer came. Now he has to show he is making some changes. Now, what changes can you make in a temple? It's been set for generations. It's been going. So the only thing he can fiddle around with is prasad distribution. Because prasad in a traditional temple is the annam, the food, the rice that you will cook. Mahaprasad is always annam. So different priests have got different shares. Chief priest, 3 pattais, 4 pattais, 5 pattais. Or pattai is a measure. Tamil Nadu measure, old measure. Then there is one, last on the list he came. So he started cutting down. Who has got 5 will get only 4. Who will get 4 will get only 3. He kept on cutting down because new broom has to sweep clean. Finally he came to the last. The last one was Chumma Irikin Swamigal Uru Pattai. The simply sitting Swami, 1 pattai. What is the simply sitting Swami? What does he do? Nothing. He just sits. Why should you give him for just sitting? No pattai. Cancelled. Okay. So first day, the Swami didn't get anything. He said, okay, maybe they have forgotten or something. He kept quiet. Aaj bhiksha nahi hai, ekadashi manayin. This is how sadhus are. You don't get food, that day is ekadashi for you. Second day also it didn't happen. No? Third day he said, no, there is something wrong. So he went to the chief priest and said, what is happening? Why am I not getting my pattai? I also have to live now, I have to eat. He says, what to do? The executive officer has. Let me go and speak to the executive officer. He said, why have you cancelled? Because you are not doing anything. I said, of course I am doing something. What? Simply sitting. What is simply sitting? He said, I am teaching the people that by simply sitting also you can be happy. Simply sitting, anyone can do that. फिर थोड़ा तू मैं हो गया. He said, you do that and show me. The executive, of course I will show. So the next morning the executive officer is sitting along with the Swami. The Swami is sitting. Nastaram Baba is sitting. The executive officer is sitting. Then he goes to pick up his phone. No phone. Simply sitting. Then somebody comes, hello, how are you? No talking, just simply sitting. So this went on for a couple of hours. The executive officer was thoroughly fed up. So he got up and made a new decree. Chumma Irikin Swamigal ka 2 pattai. Double the share, okay. My big lesson. No, that is different. That is a discipline. That is not karmani akarmaya pashyat. The Swami was akarma all right through. The executive officer realized that even when he is sitting simply, there is a lot of karma happening. Akarmani karmayaha he saw. In akarma, there is a lot of karma. Okay? Here, whether you are doing or not doing, guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Gunas function in their respective field. I don't do anything. You may be busy, right in the midst of a battlefield. क्या कर रहा हो? कुछ नहीं. He slaughtered so many people. Guna guneshu vartante. Like Bhishma. Guna guneshu vartante. Yeah. Aham kimapi na karomi. I do nothing. Yeah. Okay. So gunatitaha uchyate. Such a person is gunati. Okay. Good. I can. Mam cha yo avivacharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samite etan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He says, yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. By avyabhichara bhakti yogena sevate. By an unshaken bhakti. What is unshaken bhakti? Bhakti is emotion, आगे पीछे हो सकता है, ऊपर नीचे हो सकता है, isn't it? In bhakti is always like that. There is always ups and downs. Even the greatest of saints have said there were times where their faith was shaken, because that's the nature of emotion. Because if you are taking bhakti as an emotion, it is natural to be shaken. You cannot have avyabhicharena bhakti. It is like this, the padri was going on listening to confessions, dealing with people's problems. He got fed up and he went to the Pope and said, Father, I am ready to give up. I can't take it anymore. My faith is completely shaken. And you know what the Pope told him? My son, that is the time you have to fake it. That is the time you have to fake it. But after some time he says, Father, I am tired of faking it also. Faking it doesn't always work. Some places it will work. If it is back my knowledge, it will work, not otherwise. Therefore, avyabhichara, for your bhakti to be avyabhichara, it has to have atma jnanam behind it. Ishvara jnanam, atma jnanam. Ishvara jnanam, isha darshanam, atma rupataha. To have the vision of the Lord in the form of yourself, your own consciousness. Avyabhicharena bhakti. Yo sevate, says, so sevate. You can call it bhakti, you can call it jnanam, it's one of the same. It is para bhakti, absolute bhakti. Absolute bhakti is absolute identification that comes from the result of knowing the truth. Therefore, avyabhicharena bhakti and bhaktiya kasevate. Sa gunan samiti etan. All these gunas he has crossed over. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He is fit to be one with Brahman, meaning he is one with Brahman. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate, etc. Aupacharikam. He is nothing but one with Brahman. Because Gunatita, remember? What is Gunatita? Myself, Brahman. Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya ekantikasya cha. Because I, the consciousness, he is the pratishtha of Brahman. Okay. Indeed, the basis of Brahman, Brahmaji, the creator. Okay, Brahman. Or I am. There is no way you are going to know Brahman other than knowing yourself. नहीं पहला आत्मज्ञान मिलने का फिर ब्रह्मज्ञान मिलने का नहीं होता है. People say such nonsense, okay? पहला आत्मज्ञान ले फिर ब्रह्मज्ञान. Yeah. Brahma Atma is one and the same. Yeah. Brahma Atma is one and the same. Okay? Brahmano pratishtaham. Amritasya cha avyayasya cha. I am the basis of immortality, of non-changing in time, unconditioned by time. Shashvatasya dharmasya. This eternal dharma, this eternal knowledge that keeps flowing from Guru to Sishya, it goes on. That parampara, I am the basis for that parampara. Parampara is from Ishvara alone. And Ishvara is nothing but consciousness, so from them alone. Sukasya ekantikasya cha. And the basis for that happiness which does not know any limit, which cannot be negated, that unnegatable, unshaken ananda, that is what I am, he says. That's what you are. Each and every one of us. Okay? This is what you are. So all you have to do is recognize this. That's it. Fir baat ban gaya. Yeah, that's all you have to do. Recognize this. Nothing else is necessary. All that is necessary is only that. Then you have made it in life. Swamiji, what to do after that? After that, Murkhavat achare, go and live like the other fools. You know, one of the young girls whom I knew when she was a kid, okay? I was a young man, she was a kid. must be about 50 now, okay, but that time I'm okay. So she asked me, she's my Facebook friend, she asked me, how did you even feel like coming back after being in Rishikesh? I said, Guru said, go and confuse the people in Bombay. I came to confuse people in Bombay. Or kya? He said, but can you really relate to a life in Bombay after being in Rishikesh? I said, why not? In fact, one of the advice given to the students is Vedanta is once you gain knowledge, live like the other fools in the society. Murkha. This kid liked it so much, he put it on her Facebook. Live like the other fools after gaining wisdom. I started laughing when I saw that. But it is true. Why? The world goes on, you go on, everything goes on as natural. But you are living in freedom, you are living in this knowledge, therefore you are living in freedom. You are not shaken by anything. You empathize with everything. You do whatever is necessary. So some things will work out, some things will not work out. You go ahead with what has to be done. And when the time comes, drop your body, because body का time up हो गया. Not your time, okay? हमारा time नहीं आया, body का time आया. Drop the body. Yeah. And then what? Remain as all-pervading consciousness. What else is there? Living your all-pervading consciousness, dropping your body, you're still all-pervading consciousness. It doesn't change. And Swamiji, what about all the students who depend on you, etc.? Parampara will keep going. Na? Don't think I'm going to come back and teach. Huh? No. I'm not going to haunt you like a ghost. My teacher said that. Don't worry, I'll be with all of you. Swamiji, really? Yes, as consciousness. Not as a ghost. Okay. If I say I'll come as a ghost, many of you will get scared also. Hey, I'm doing this. Is he Swamiji looking around somewhere? Problem ho jayega. Okay, so no one does that. No wise person does that, okay? Yeah. That's why the parampara, etc. becomes important. The Guru Sishya parampara takes care. Yeah. Who will be there for your children, grandchildren, etc. Parampara will take care of it. We ensure the parampara keeps going. When that happens, things will happen. Yeah. So that's it. So with that, the 14th chapter comes to an end. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu. The Gita, which is also like an Upanishad only, Brahmavidyayam Yoga Shastra, which has got both Brahmavidya Atma Jnanam and Yoga Shastra, whatever you need to manage your mind. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, in the form of a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama, called as Gunatraya Vibhaga. Chaturda Adhyaya, the 14th chapter comes to an end. Remember all this that he talked about, fine-tuning your mind, okay? It's up to each one of us how to fine-tune the mind. You have to see which part of that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas you have to take care of. What is it that you need to do to take care of? If you're struggling with it, that's why everyone has one-on-one with the teacher, so that he can help you find what is it, what is not it, etc. And then you fine-tune the mind. And once you fine-tune the mind, the knowledge settles in you. Then once the knowledge settles, remember, Murkavad Acharyati. Go back. Yeah. You have a choice, live a normal life, take the robes, you're free. Whatever you do, you're doing in freedom. Whatever you do, you're doing it in freedom, not out of a bondage. Like, it'll be like what Meera said, to put in the language of bhakti. Bhavasagara sab sukh gaya hai. Bhavasagara, the ocean of samsara has dried up. Fikar nahi abhi taran ki. There is no fear of having to cross. I can't sing for nothing. Actually, this should be sung. Yeah. For that, you'll have to ask people like Shaboni to do that. Okay. Fikar nahi abhi taran ki. Yes, where is the thing? You're fine. Where is samsara? No samsara. What is there? Some names and forms are there, something beautiful is there, or kya? And what is really there? Only one consciousness. Or kya? Only one consciousness. Everything else is everything else. Apparently there. So enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. So now the last 2-3 chapters onwards, even in the 15, 16, all of them will be all the kind fine tuning what is necessary. Okay. So some places I'll go a bit fast, some places I will tarry a while, okay, to clarify certain things and go ahead. A good place to stop. Okay. Om Tansat. If there are no questions, next class we will start the 15th chapter.